whenever you have an attachment, you are giving your control over to somebody else. So if you have an attachment to a thing, you let that thing control you. If you ever feel unseen, unheard, unloved, insignificant, just remember that the most valuable things are usually invisible. So, with that, my name is Elle, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we are just going to get right into it. Let's start off with saying one thing. You don't need anyone else's approval, okay? This is where I always got caught because for me, I felt like I was always chasing other people's approval. I felt like I made this account. I made my whole platform because I wanted to be better than my op, literally. Like the person who hurt me, I wanted to be better than them and I wanted them to never be able to hurt me again. And I wanted them to know that I'm powerful and I'm strong. And you, like, whatever you say, whatever you do, you can't control me because I am my own person. I am powerful. I am empowering others and I am magnetic. Okay. There's no way that you are going to have control over me. So, me doing this is what I've always wanted to do, like, for the longest time. And I say that so often on my channel, but I let the idea of fear stop me because I thought if I start doing this right now, somebody's going to see this from my hometown and think that I'm weird, or somebody's going to see this from, I don't know, they're just going to see this and they're going to think that it's terrible. And who cares? Like, honestly, who freaking cares? Who cares if somebody from your hometown sees it? Let them see it, okay? Let them see it. They're probably not going to see it. And their attention span is probably shorter than a goldfish. So if they do see it, they're probably going to forget about it in the next 2 to 3 seconds, okay? So you'll be fine. I promise you. Just do what you love and do it with passion. And that's the first thing. I made a whole topic, a whole episode on rejection is redirection, okay? This is something that I think a lot of people fail to realize. If you were in a talking stage with somebody and it didn't work out, they ghosted you. Okay, God saw things that you didn't see. And I know that it's hard to see it like that right now, but in a few months, you're going to look back and you're going to already have figured it out. You're already going to have something better and you're going to be like, oh, that's why that happened. And you're going to already know. But right now, it feels confusing. But if you are able to make that distinction within the moment and say, okay, I may not understand now, but God is already taking care of it for me. God has already worked it out in the future. And that is what He wants you to know. That is what He's speaking through me to you today. And I think a lot of us fail to realize that He's protecting you from something that, or whatever you want to call it. If you don't believe in God, that's okay. Not everybody does. You could say the universe, whoever you want to say. The universe protected you from that situation. The universe saw things that you didn't. So therefore, let that situation go. Let that situation free. Don't think that means that they have to be in your life just because you have an attachment to them. Just because you have history doesn't mean they still fit in your boat. Simply, I before this podcast today, I'm making an episode on how to emotionally detach, but I was feeling all types of emotions. Like, this is something that I'm still working on myself. This is something, as a 22-year-old, I'm learning. I've gone through things in my life that have allowed me to get to this point. And like anybody who has just gone through stuff, when someone doesn't see your value in their life, it doesn't mean you're not valuable. Okay? That just means that your role in their life may have come to an end, or vice versa. It could mean that their role in your life is coming to an end, or it's supposed to guide you to something else. And sometimes, whenever something ends, you just have to know that just because it ended doesn't mean there's not better out there for you. And whenever you're like squeezing onto something that's not meant for you anymore so hard, you're not allowing yourself to make space for the things that actually are meant for you. And that is a whole mind-boggling thing in of itself whenever I even say that, because it's just hard to hear, to be honest. And if you're attached to a person thing or situation, you're not free. If you think you're free, you're not. These things control you. These attachments don't come from anything but your need for control. Whenever I feel out of control, my emotions spike up and they kind of flare up, and I feel short tempered or whatever. And that, whenever I start to get like that, I'm coming from a place of ego and not love. And whenever you come into this earth, we're all born in the image and likeness of God, where we're all called to love. As a baby, you're not waking up feeling depressed. As a baby, you're not waking up hating yourself. You're just happy to be here. Literally, you have to think of it as from the perspective of a childlike innocence. Because if you pursue life like that, you will also just develop a better sense of reality, an elevated sense of confidence in yourself, and better perspective overall. Because whenever you start having that mindset and not being so hateful towards yourself and not letting people's harmful words control you, it really makes a huge difference. Because the real competition is your potential. That is the only competition in your life. The only person who is your competition is your potential. Okay? I need you to let that sit with you for a second, because if you are telling yourself that you can't live the life that you want to live, you'll never live it. So, this doesn't just mean stop letting other people's words hurt you. This also means internally, okay? These words hurt us because we internalize that. I internalize that. Whenever somebody tells me something that they think, they're like, oh my gosh, she's not a cool person, or whatever they want to say about me, they're going to say it. They can say whatever they want. But you have to have a strong enough sense of identity within yourself to be able to say, no, this is not who I am. I know who I am. I know that I am loved. I know that I'm worthy, and nobody else can tell me that I'm not. And once you start adjusting your life, this is not going to be a shift overnight. This is not just a one like size fits all. This takes practice and discipline. And honestly, if you don't take care of yourself, why would anybody else want to take care of you? And so basically, if you are letting other people's words hurt you, look inward. Why do they hurt so much? Is it because you're trying to you want their approval? Okay. So let's like really look at that. Like, why do you want their approval so bad? Do the things that you have already yourself, not are they not enough for you? Are you not enough for yourself? And if the answer is yes, then you have a need to be fulfilled by others and have other people's perceptions of you be good. But the truth is, everyone is going to have a different perception of you. And that is something that we all have to realize. True love, true self worth doesn't operate from a place of love. Wait, no. True love, true self worth does not operate from a place of lack. And so if you are living in lack, then this is where you flip the script. One thing about compliments and criticism, they can turn that around real quick. You have an op, well, if you start succeeding, that op can turn into a fan. Yeah, funny how that happens. Funny whenever you start like going to the gym, lifting weights, doing the thing, looking good, feeling good, posting your stuff, being on top of your school, doing all the things for yourself. And then as soon as that person who used to talk down on you, prey on your downfall, is sitting at your feet trying to sit at your table, okay? Crazy how that happens, but that's not the point. They're always going to do that. And people are volatile, and they will stoop so low to try to make you feel insecure about yourself because they want you to feel small. They don't want you to take up space. And if they see you taking up space, they don't want that. So, because they want their insecurities are so loud, their insecurities are screaming, scratching, trying to get out of them. So they're going to project that onto you. And if you let that happen, it's going to eat away at you, especially as somebody who's emotional and empathetic like myself. And I know that this video is going to stumble upon that type of person, because if this title resonated with you, then you're the same type of person as me, because we struggle to emotionally detach. We are emotional people. And there's nothing wrong. I need to also point out there's nothing wrong with your emotions, okay? Nothing. Your emotions are beautiful. Don't let somebody take away your soft heartedness. If you have a big heart, this is not me saying, okay, become cold, become heartless. No, that's not what I'm saying. Keep your heart. Just guard it. Just guard it a little bit better. And, learn from your mistakes and claim, like, just because it was a bad relationship doesn't mean that you didn't learn from it. Just because the relationship itself was bad doesn't make it an overall bad relationship. You can have a bad experience, but you learned from that. You evolved from that. You are elevated now, and you have learned and became such a better person because of all of this. Like, everything that you've gone through has gotten you to where you are right now. And if you didn't go through X, Y, and Z to get there, then you would not be where you are today. And you would not have that motivation and that drive to help other people. And if you start living your life in a way, whenever you're going through that hurt, going through that pain, and you see how it can, you already start to think about it. Like, whenever I'm going through hurt, I'm already starting to think, the wheels are already spinning. How can I help somebody else later with this? Because whenever I'm going through something, I don't want to think about it. Like, I want to think about how can I help somebody else, because that's something that I always want to do, is always wanted to help others. And that's probably psychologically, there's something very psychologically rooted in that. I've definitely talked about that before, but it kind of like it takes a whole spin on itself. A compliment can be taken away just as easy as it's given. So why let it define you? Why are we letting people's words define us? And the same thing goes with criticism. It's fleeting. It can be flipped literally at the snap of a finger. Like, we're not even kidding. A lot of the people who used to like call me like fat or whatever are like, "Oh my god, what's your leg routine?" I'll give it to you because I love to see others thrive. I don't want to make other people feel small. I'm going to give you the tips and tricks that worked for me because I'm going to help you out. I don't want anyone else in this world to feel small. You deserve to take up the space. You don't have to be small. And the people who try to make you feel small are not the right people for you. And God is probably giving you people, things, obstacles in your life that are keeping you away from that person if they are making you feel small. Mic drop. So, there's something really impactful about being unseen. And I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, right? But stay with me. If you're feeling, unheard, unseen, unloved, unworthy, well, what is unseen is usually the most significant. And your depth, your strength, your wisdom, everything that you've gone through, it's all inside of you, but you just have to unlock it. You literally have the key. But if you let your self sabotaging tendencies and your self criticism tendencies and your self deprecating tendencies rule you, or your detachments, or I mean, your attachments to other people control you, you are going to have trouble living the best life, becoming your best self, because your highest version of yourself once you is already nudging you to become the higher version of yourself. All of those little divinely inspired moments that happen to you, those little miracles that happen in your life, that's literally God guiding you to become the highest version of yourself. And you are just like literally on the path. You just have to keep going and keep getting up that mountain of it being uncomfortable, because it's not going to be comfortable. Like, these things are not meant, life is not meant to be comfortable. And if you are literally just living your life to freaking get a work pension and then die, like, you are not living life. You are not living a happy life. And if you aren't trying to figure out what your purpose in life is, and like, you can't wake up every single morning and say, I'm excited to do something and put something out in the world for other people or for myself, it doesn't matter what it is, but it's, as long as it's like fulfilling you, then like, that's awesome. Okay. Something about life is people will come in your life to teach you something, and then sometimes they'll leave. And you need to stop romanticizing the delusion that you fed into that idea of that person you thought that they were, because that person that that person that you thought you dated actually was not real. that person that you thought was so like your idol, was your everything, you actually just made them up in your head. You had a delusion, a perception of who this person was, and they ended up not being that, and that kind of shook you up. And that's okay. But you have to be real about it. And when you accept situations for what they are, you take back your power. So take back your power by doing that and stop feeding into the delusion of your mind of people thinking that, okay, this person was meant for me. No, they weren't meant for you. They were not meant for you. And that's okay. That's okay. Stop trying to put on a shoe that never fit you. Like literally, you're stealing other people's shoes. You're literally like stealing other people's shoes from the street that you don't even know. And it's giving desperate, okay? It's giving desperate. Why are we letting that person who didn't text us back for a few hours define our worth? Why are we doing that? Because they don't define your worth. You know, that person, that girl that you're waiting for to text you back, she doesn't define your worth. You know, that boy that has left you on red for 24 hours and you're checking their snap score go up and you're watching it go up and you're literally biting your freaking nails off because you're freaking out and like rocking in a lawn chair, like that one scene in SpongeBob where he's like, you know, that one I'm talking about. Yeah, it's giving desperate, okay? And it's not you. Okay, well it kind of is you, but the thing is, like, let me just tell you, I've been there. I have been there. And the way I choose to not put myself in that situation is realizing I have a tendency to go after broken people. That has been my relationship pattern, okay? I go after people who aren't emotionally stable, okay? Sometimes it just happens that way. So, like, if you are freaking out about that person not texting you back, you just have to know that, like, stop holding on to this person so tightly, okay? What's meant, I'm seeing a monarch butterfly right now. How real. I always see monarch butterflies whenever God's telling me I'm on point. Yes, I got. Whenever you're holding on to that person so tight, it screams desperate. Oh my gosh, thank you, queen. Whenever you're holding on to that person so tight, it's just giving desperate. It's giving unnecessary because what's meant for you, you won't have to white knuckle. You won't have to freaking like you won't have to claw your hair won't be coming out in clumps. Okay? What's meant for you will be peaceful. It will be slow. It will be patient. It will be kind. It will find you. You don't have to find it. And I say this as I am freaking knee deep in my single girl era, okay? Because I have spent the time healing since my breakup because I know that if I don't heal now, I'm not going to be able to be healed for my husband whenever I meet him. If I've met him already, I have no idea. No idea, not a clue. And I don't even have the mental capacity to worry about that because we are being honest with ourselves and we are being self aware that I don't have the energy or the time to be giving to somebody else right now whenever I'm graduating college within 3 weeks. I have like 4 jobs. I am a content creator, a podcaster, a YouTuber, like all of a photographer, everything. Like I'm literally everything. What makes me think I have time to put into somebody else right now? And to be honest, the only way I could do that is if they just magically fell into my lap. Literally, unless it's literally from God and I'm like there's literally no way I can pass it up, I'm gonna pass it up because you can't keep up with me right now. And I am building my own embassy. I'm building my own empire of people who want to be here, who want to feel better, who want to gain strength and who want to become better versions of themselves and just overall level up because that's what I'm personally that is my personal mission statement is to help other people level up, whether that's emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, whatever, all of the above for doing it because that is the kind of person I am. I want you to know how I did it and I want to help others achieve that for themselves because at the end of the day, if you don't have a bigger purpose for yourself, then what are you doing? What are you doing? Get a life. Get a freaking life. Read a book. Go on a walk. Do something. But don't sit there and just do nothing because if you do nothing, then what are you doing? There's literally so many people in this world. What do you have to offer it? Okay? That is what you need to be asking yourself. Go ask your parents, go ask your friends, what would people pay you money for you to do for them? Like for me, that's whenever my mom's like, I would literally pay you to coach me, like coach me mentally, because she always comes to me for advice. And I'm like, okay, like let's talk about it. Let's get through this. And that's because I have mastered how to emotionally detach. Whenever I say master, I say that loosely because, sometimes my old tendencies definitely claw up my surface, but, we're working on that. And that's why we're making an episode to talk about that and to help other people, hopefully. So, another thing I already had mentioned, use your pain as a catalyst for growth, okay? If you are not seeking out bigger, better ways for you to help other people whenever you're going through something, you are just thinking small. I know, I am obsessed with you. Hold up. I'm so glad you're getting to hear this. This is like my podcast, like wellness side. This is like where I get like really excited. So I had mentioned earlier in this video, I started my gym journey personally. Like my gym journey started probably in like what, 8th grade, something around that time, probably like a little bit earlier. But my villain arc that, everyone has been having for years, I started mine whenever I was like 14. Okay. Because there were boys in my life who made me feel like I was not pretty or I was not worthy. And that put into my mind that I needed to become worthy and I needed to find other people's approval and become the best version of myself and step on all of these people's egos once I did that. And, we did do that. But throughout this whole journey, what I did learn was that it's not about trying to make other people feel small so you can feel big. It's about the journey itself and the discipline and the evolvement and the empowerment that comes from putting in that effort into yourself. And like that is something that you can't have unless you do go to the gym. And like I hate to say it like that. Like I really do, but I think the gym has made me who I am today. And that could be a whole video in itself, like why going to the gym will actually change your life. I think I should actually make an episode about that. I need to make an episode about why going to the gym can change your life. Let me think about how I say this. You are denying yourself today's blessings. You are denying yourself today's blessings whenever you cling on to something in your past that doesn't exist anymore. Like that 5-year relationship that ended 7 years ago. Okay, I know you were sad about it, but it's time to move on. Whenever you see all these famous celebrities, these entrepreneurs, these millionaires who have made a name for themselves, it's not because they just sat back and stood on the sidelines and let people tell them who they should be. No, they had that delusional confidence within themselves where they were like, okay, you guys, like people may be telling me I'm terrible. People may be telling me the worst things about myself, but I am confident in what I do and what I bring to this table, and I will not stop until I get what I want, until I figure out how to help other people. And if it's not more of a mission to you about how you can help other people, and if it's about the money will come, okay? It can't be about the money because the money will come. God will provide, and that is not the problem. The thing that you need to focus on is how can you help one person make a difference in one person's life? And that feeling of making a difference in one person's life will literally empower you to another level. And once you start practicing going to the gym, that is going to change your life. Going to the gym is literally going to change your life. It literally saved my life, okay? Because I would not be, I like, no matter what, I will still go to the gym. I will still make it to the gym 5 days a week. And I do that because it's not about motivation. It's about showing up on the days whenever I literally could not. That's what I need right now. Like I need the gym because the gym is where I'm putting time and energy into myself for nobody else, and this is where I'm improving my life and improving myself, and doing that is like helping neurotransmitters in your brain like, help you realize how amazing you are, and helping it's just like helping you become such a stronger version of yourself. And I just want that for everybody. And that's why I think everybody should go to the gym. I don't want to date anybody ever again who doesn't go to the gym every single day and isn't as crazy about the gym as me. And I always say that, and then I end up making an exception for this guy who's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get back into it. But like, it's not even about going to the gym, like how your body looks. Like that's an extent to it, because like obviously I want my man to, put effort into himself like I do. Like, I want somebody who has good hygiene, all of that. But it's more about like the dedication. It's like I know that you are investing in yourself just as much as I'm investing in myself, and I can get something from that. Like I'm not here to teach a boy how to be a man, okay? I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. Like my frontal lobe is like literally, I hear her knocking. Instead of fearing your struggles, allow them to be a gateway into your success. And a lot of people ask me, Elle, how you get a lot of negative comments on social media sometimes. And that's true. The first few months I almost stopped because I was like, I can't do this. There's so many people just saying so many negative things about me. People calling me fat, people calling me ugly, people saying like I'm a 3 out of 10, just all these terrible things, like things that would make me question myself. And I'm like, what am I even doing? Like these people are right. And then I literally had to have a come to Jesus moment, and I was like, am I really going to let these people stop me from doing what I love? Okay. I have loved making videos, doing content since I was literally like 10 years old. I literally had my first camera at like 10 years old. I was taking pictures of everything. Okay. And I was obsessed with it. Hi. Like every single setback you have is an entryway to growth. And if you don't allow yourself to grow, you'll never become the best version of yourself. And I just want you to know that all of this is already within you, but you are just trying to not let it out because you think you aren't enough. You don't have the capability to become the best version of yourself, but you are the only one stopping yourself. So, whenever I say how to emotionally detach, you have to first emotionally detach from what you think your bad looks like, okay? What does your bad look like? Okay? You don't have to be mean to yourself. There's a difference between self awareness and self criticism. I've said this like 3 times, but I'm going to keep saying it until it sticks because I just came up with this. Like, I was like, I'm very self aware and I hate that about myself. And my mom was like, no, I don't think that's a bad thing. And I'm like, wait, I think you're right. Like, it isn't a bad thing. Like, self awareness does not equal self criticism. And I was getting those two jumbled up in my head because I thought, if I'm self-aware and I know of my flaws but I can't seem to fix them all the time, I'm terrible, like I'm not worthy. And that's not true. That's a lie from the enemy. That's a lie from the devil telling me that I can't fix these things whenever I definitely can. It's just for some reason there's something holding me back, and you have to stop. You have to detach. You have to detach from those thoughts that come in from like your own mind. Like your own mind will be your biggest enemy, and you have to emotionally detach, filter out those thoughts that are just freaking, what is the word? I don't know what the word is. Like TV static, okay? Like that's the noise coming in whenever you have those negative thoughts, like in one ear out the other. Same thing with people. Like people are going to tell you hurtful things all the time. Sticks and stones. There's a whole podcast episode on this topic about how I don't think, like, how sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you. It's called Sticks and Stones. I'm not sure if there's a YouTube version of it. I don't think I started my YouTube channel until after, but it's definitely on my podcast. So you can listen to that episode. It's basically this. It's basically what I'm talking about today, but just in a different layout. And I think that is so true. Are we going to let these people's perceptions, these people's insecurities make us feel small our whole life? No. No, you got the wrong one. If you think my op is going to be the reason I don't become the best version of myself, okay? If you think my op is the reason I'm not going to succeed in life, you got another thing coming, okay? Is the Pope Catholic? He sure is. So, with that, you know what to do. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know why I closed out with that. Maybe I should close out with something else. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this, it's words don't have power over you. They have as much power as you give them. So with that, I can tell you I hate you right now, and you should be able to be like, okay, whatever, But whenever I say I love you, maybe it makes you feel some type of way because you're like, oh my gosh, this cute girl on the internet telling me she loves me. Like, how sweet of her. But you should become emotionally detached enough to where you're like, okay, but until it's meant to be worth hearing. Whenever you first need to always put yourself first in these situations. Like, your opinion, you can listen to other people's opinions about what you should do in a situation, but ultimately at the end of the day, you should be the one making those decisions in your life, nobody else, because you have the power to become the best version of yourself if you just stop standing in your own way. And with that, thank you so much for stopping by. I love all of you. I am so happy to see that my community is growing, and all of you have been so supportive, and it's been so fun. With that, you guys, I will see you on Friday. So soon, I guess. Make sure to follow my podcast, new episodes every Friday. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you made it this far, you definitely have to subscribe, because why would you? What the L are you doing if you don't? What the L? What the L are you doing if you don't subscribe? Okay, so yeah, cool. Glad we had that conversation. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. Love you. Bye.